The cake was still warm when Ethan answered the phone. I had pulled it from the oven at 6:17 a.m., the kitchen lights humming the same tired fluorescent song they'd sung since Claire was 9, and begged for lavender frosting because it tastes like fairies. I piped tiny rosettes around the edge the way she liked, even though my hands shook now and the piping bag felt foreign, like something that belonged to a younger woman, Mom. Ethan's voice, too loud, too cheerful. Then the click of speakerphone. Claire didn't even say hello. We got married last weekend, she said, bright and quick, the way she used to announce straight A's or a new boyfriend. Civil ceremony, just the people who really matter to us right now. The room didn't tilt. It dropped. I looked down at the cake. The lavender had turned the color of a bruise in the morning light, 3 layers. Madagascar vanilla bean I'd ordered online because the grocery store stuff wasn't the same anymore. I baked it because I thought I'd be bringing it to the rehearsal dinner I was. Never invited to Dot, Ethan cleared his throat. Super intimate. Immediate family only. Immediate family. 27 people in the photos I found 4 hours later, drunk on rage and half a bottle of the Prosecco I'd been saving for the toast. I would never give Dot Claire in backless silk that cost more than my first car. Ethan's mother crying happy tears into a flute of Veuve. His brothers loud, red-faced, alive in a way my daughter had stopped being around me years ago. His sister catching the bouquet like it was a football and she'd just scored the winning touchdown. I zoomed in until the pixels blurred. Not one face I recognized except theirs. I didn't cry. I sat on the kitchen floor with the cake in my lap and ate an entire layer with a fork straight from the cardboard round. Frosting up to my knuckles. Lavender under my nails like I'd been gardening in graves. 2 weeks later, the phone rang at 8:03 a.m. I knew it was her before I looked. They always called at 8:03 when they were desperate 3 minutes after the bank opened. Exactly enough time for me to have transferred the rent money if I was still the old me. Mom? Her voice cracked like thin ice. The landlord left a 3-day pay-or-quit notice taped to the door. Did the transfer not go through? We're really in trouble. I walked to the window. The bird feeder was empty again. I hadn't filled it since the wedding that wasn't. Every spare 20 went into Claire's account instead of sunflower seeds. I watched a chickadee land, tilt its little head, fly away disappointed. Claire, I said, and my voice sounded like someone I hadn't met yet cold, clean, sharp enough to cut glass. I only help the people who really matter to me now. Silence. Then a sound I remembered from when she was 6 and fell off her bike, small, wounded animal. You're my mother. Yes, I said. And you're 32. Figure it out. I hung up. That night I made a list, not in anger. Anger had already burned itself out and left something surgical behind. Rent. 36 months at $750. $27,000. Groceries I bought when they were too busy, $9,800. Car insurance I paid because ours lapsed again. Mom, please. $3, 600 wedding dress deposit they swore they'd pay back. $1, 200 Ethan's e-visit for the dirt bike accident he laughed about later. $4, 1-2 plane tickets to Tulum for Claire's mental health. $2, 337, the Venmos that said, love you, or you're the best, or just a string of heart emojis, $8,200 total, $56,257 I wrote, it in purple ink because it was the only pen I could find. It looked like a bruise on the page. The next morning I was at the bank when they unlocked the doors. Mr. Alvarez, sweet man, grandfather of 5, saw me and his face folded with worry. Mrs. Delaney? Is everything all right? Everything is perfect, I said. Cancel every automatic payment to Claire and Ethan Morrison. Remove them from all accounts. Today. He hesitated. You've had the rent on auto draft since I'm aware. My phone started vibrating while he typed, Claire, Ethan, a number I didn't know. I turned it off and went to the salon I hadn't visited since Obama was president. I told the stylist, cut it all off. Make me look like someone who doesn't give a damn. Any more dots she did when I looked. In the mirror, I saw a stranger with sharp silver hair and eyes that had stopped apologizing. I looked dangerous. I liked it, too. Days later, I came home to find my front door ajar. Claire was pacing my living room in the same yoga pants she'd worn for 4 days straight the previous spring when she couldn't. Adult. Ethan was going through my mail. A man in a suit that smelled like new car was photographing my checkbook with his phone. The rage that rose in me was quiet. Arctic, get out of my house. Claire spun. Her face was blotchy, mascara raccoons under her eyes. Mom, oh, thank God. We've been so worried. This is Mr. Hensley, he's a lawyer. You've been acting erratic, cutting us off. Installing cameras. At my age, Hensley said smoothly. Sudden financial changes can indicate. I walked past him to the kitchen, took the durable power of attorney papers he was waving, and fed them into the garbage disposal. The grinding sound was better than any symphony I'd ever heard. Ethan tried the soft approach. He always did when Claire's tears weren't working. Mom. He reached for my arm. We just want to take care of you the way you always took care of us. I looked at his hand on my sleeve like it was something contagious. You took care of me so well you couldn't fit me into your wedding. Claire made that wounded sound again. You're twisting everything. We love you. Yes, I said. I know exactly how much your love costs. They left when I picked up the phone and dialed 911. Hensley muttered about elder abuse. I told him I'd be happy to press charges for breaking and entering. I changed the locks that afternoon, added a Ring camera, slept with a baseball bat for a week anyway. They tried again 10 days later. Adult Protective Services wellness check. I greeted the social worker in my new haircut. Navy suit pressed, fresh coffee poured. I handed her a 3-ring binder labeled receipts in purple ink dot every transfer. Every Venmo, every grocery run. The plane tickets, the wedding dress, the AA bill with Ethan's sheepish selfie from the hospital bed. Caption, oops. The social worker closed the case. Before she finished her coffee dot, then came the guardianship petition. They claimed cognitive decline. Undue influence by new female acquaintances, my book club, apparently. Risk of financial self-harm. I wore the Navy suit to court. It felt like it had been waiting for this moment. Their lawyer called me vulnerable, isolated, confused. My lawyer played the recording from the day they broke in. Ethan's voice, clear and greedy. Once she signs, we get the accounts back online that afternoon. Claire's whisper, she do it. She always does. The judge didn't even leave the bench. Petition denied with prejudice. Court costs to petitioners. 5-year no-contact order. I walked out into sunlight that felt brand new. Sold the house 6 weeks later. The realtor kept saying, but it's such a family home. I told her some families rot from the inside. I bought a cedar-shingled cottage 20 minutes from the ocean. 2 bedrooms. Porch big enough for a swing and a telescope. Garden already overgrown with blackberries and roses gone wild. Filled every bird feeder until the branches sagged with chickadees. Finches, even a pair of bossy stellar jays that reminded me of myself. Now, some nights I sit on the porch with a glass of good red wine, no more Prosecco, and watch the stars come out one by one. I started speaking at senior centers, libraries, women's shelters. Anywhere they'll let me stand up and say the thing no one ever told me was allowed. You can stop. You can stop lighting yourself for people who would watch you burn and roast marshmallows. You can hang up the phone. You can change the locks. You can let them call you monster if it means you finally get to be human. I still have the navy suit. I wear it every time I speak and every time I say the line that always makes the room go perfectly still. They only invited the people who really mattered. So I stopped paying rent for people who didn't. The applause is always loudest from the women who haven't done it yet, but their eyes, they're already changing. One day, a woman in the back row, maybe 55, hands trembling, asked, "But what if they never speak to me again?" I smiled the smile I practiced in the mirror after I cut my hair. "Then you've won twice," I said, "once for your money, and once for your peace." I never heard from Claire again. Sometimes, driving past the grocery store, I think I see her thinner, hair dyed some desperate shade of platinum, loading generic bags into a dented Civic. I never slow down. The bird feeders at my cottage are always full now. The roses are tamed out, the wine is good, and the woman who used to flinch every time her phone buzzed, she's gone. In her place is someone who finally chose herself, and she is magnificent.